Tuesday, December 26th, 9:05 p.m. Mountain Time, 2017. Hope you guys had a great Christmas and a wonderful new year to come. In less than a week, we'll be in 2018. Hard to believe, but hope things are terrific in your world. I want to go back about 4 days ago to the incident that was witnessed over the southwestern U.S., predominantly L.A. and Phoenix. I saw this sky spectacle from my house. Seemed like it went over my neighborhood, very close. And when you see something like this, it's just kind of surreal, to be honest with you. And even though it was dismissed as a SpaceX rocket launch, and we were kind of arrogantly, put down for even making a spectacle out of it, but if you see something like this firsthand, trust me, you wouldn't arrogantly put down others for kind of adding a wow factor to it, because it is quite fascinating. But apparently, this isn't the first time something like this was seen. My daughter sent me this. It's a piece of history that goes back exactly 80 years ago, right around Christmas in Vancouver. Something very similar was seen in the skies in 1937 over Vancouver City Hall. And right here it is. And in fact, let me take you in just a little closer. See that? 1937. And I don't think that the citizens back then arrogantly dismissed it to the onlookers that did see this thing, and this person here got a photograph of it, dismissed it as a just random SpaceX launch. No. And it looks very similar to what we saw less than a week ago. Looked like a fish flying through the sky. So, very interesting and too coincidental not to share. I'll post the link to this article, and it's titled, "Vancouver Was Awesome UFO Over City Hall in 1937. 21-year-old Leonard Lamorio was out with his brother Wilford one night in 1937 to photograph the Christmas lights when they spotted a UFO. And they didn't know how to explain it. Back then, there were no rockets. If you Google, when was the first rocket launch? 1942. So there were no rockets in the air in 1937. That building is, in fact, Vancouver City Hall that you see in the picture. And here is a photograph of it from 1937. There it is. That's the same building. So what did they see 80 years ago on Christmas that looks very similar to what we saw less than a week ago over the desert Southwest? Just a random SpaceX launch? Come on, guys. You think that's what they were told back then? I doubt very seriously. And I don't think to this day they know what that was. But there were no rockets and no satellites being put in the atmosphere back then. But I found that a very interesting coincidence, and I want to thank my daughter for sharing that with me, because I was unaware of that. But here's the article, here's the original picture, and you can see this thing flying through the air, and it does look very similar to what we saw less than a week ago. This is my video I filmed from out in front of our house, and that's how close it was. And it went down somewhere out in the desert south of our house. Difficult to tell how far away it was. It was not very high up in the air, I can tell you that. But I'm considering taking a drive out between here and Casa Grande to maybe see if I can locate maybe part of it or something. Kind of be probably difficult to do, but anyway, quite a surreal night. And this story here is extremely coincidental. They saw something very similar around Christmas, just like us. 80 years ago, saw something in the sky over Vancouver. Actually got a photo of it. So, was SpaceX around back then? No. Don't know what that was, but it looks very similar to what we saw less than a week ago.